All right, we are here at the DoubleTree, the official hotel of the San Diego Asian Film Festival, with Dave Boyle and Pepe Serna. Wow, what a thrill this is. First you, Dave. I was talking to Brian Hu. I never knew much about your backstory and how you came to speak Japanese. You directed this film in Japanese, except Pepe's parts, I hope.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about that, and I may have to move a little closer and ask you to speak a little louder. This will look great. Okay.
Sure. Yeah, I learned to speak Japanese as a Mormon missionary in Australia. So from when I was 19 till I was 21, I was there doing the Mormon missionary thing. And, my very first movie, which was called Big Dreams in Tokyo, was kind of loosely based on, it sort of transposed my experiences as a missionary into a more secular context. It was about a young Caucasian guy, played by myself, who's trying to fit into Japanese business culture, and then he has a roommate who's a Japanese-American guy who's trying to be a sumo wrestler. And that's actually how I met Pepe as well, because he played the part of a Mexican businessman who was selling a factory to a Japanese company or something like that. So my character had to translate for this big business meeting, but I don't speak Spanish, so I had to translate from Japanese to English, and then another guy translates from English to Spanish, and then back and forth. So the whole joke of the sequence was just how much gets lost between each language. But anyway, so one thing led to another after making that movie. I met all these wonderful actors that I wanted to work with, and that's what led to making White on Rice, which starred my friend Hiroshi Watanabe, and then that one led to making Surrogate Valentine and Daylight Savings with Go Nakamura, who I met through the Asian American Film Festival circuit. I was aware of his music, but didn't, I just kind of, when we actually met in person, the light bulb went off, and I thought, wow, I thought he'd be a really great subject for a feature film.
Have all of your films played the Asian Film Festival?
My first one didn't, but the
other ones have, yeah.
Yeah.
And your first one is the only one that I haven't seen, because I saw all the other ones here at the festival.
I can send you a link if you... It's funny, Mai actually rejected my first film from this festival.
You want to explain who Mai is for our for those who aren't playing at home?
Mai is my partner in crime, and she was also the casting director and associate producer on Man from Reno.
And she used to have a hand at the Asian Film Festival here as well, didn't she?
Yeah, that's right. She was the artistic director here for many years.
Yeah.
And also founded the Asian Film Festival in Dallas as well.
So she snubbed your first film, and now you've been together for how long?
A long time, 3 years. But to be fair, she's gonna kill me if she sees this. But to be fair, we turned it in way too late, probably, for them to show up. But I still just like to tease her and talk about how she rejected my first film and
of course
broke my dreams.
So your first films have basically been comedies, romantic comedies.
Yeah.
This is what they call a bold departure. What prompted it?
Somebody asked me, in I think it was 2011, to make a list of my favorite films of the decade, and everything on there was all mysteries and thrillers and film noir type stuff, The Beat That My Heart Skipped and films like that. And I was like, what? I should be making movies like this. This is the kind of thing that I really love to watch. I don't know why my natural inclination was to start out doing sort of idealized romantic comedies, but I'm proud of all my films, but I felt much more in my element making. Now that I've actually dipped my toes into the thriller genre, my other films feel like more of a departure than this one does.
Talk to me about the pitfalls and pleasures of self-distribution. Have you had much in the way of luck with self-distribution?
Well, it's the hardest part of it is just that it changes so much, the whole distribution landscape. I mean, even 5 years ago when I worked on a theatrical and VOD and DVD release of White on Rice, where I was very involved in all three of them, it wasn't fully self-distribution, but it was sort of a hybrid of self-distribution and working with other companies. since then, things have changed so much that nothing that we did back then would even work now. It's just a totally different ball game. So as whereas professional distribution companies keep up with all that because that's their job. My job is really to be a filmmaker. So I think that ideally the filmmaker wouldn't have any involvement in the distribution side of things. I mean, I hit a point with Surrogate Valentine and Daylight Savings. The experiment was all about, well, we have this tiny amount of money to make this movie. How can we make money off of this movie even if we only did film festivals and didn't have a theatrical release? And so we made DVDs, we made merch, we sold stuff wherever we went, and it was, I think it was successful to a degree, but it also it doesn't make the kind of money where it covers your overhead or something, which is basically what a distribution company is all about. So I mean, I hit a point where I was like, I only want to work on stuff with release dates. I don't want to make a movie on spec and then try to sell it. And
so, do you have a release date for Men from Reno?
We do in Japan. It's going to come out early next year in Japan, and so this was sort of like a halfway victory in that regard. I partnered with a company called 11 Arts that they're located both in LA and in Tokyo, and here a lot of what their business is that they distribute like Japanese animated films in US theaters, and then they're also a production company, and they put in well over half the budget for the movie so that at least we could make it, and then also have a guarantee of distribution in Japan. And they've also sold it to other countries all over the world. In the U.S., it looks fairly likely that it probably will be some kind of either self-distribution or hybrid scenario where we'll be heavily involved with the day-to-day, which I really believe in the movie, so I'm happy to do it. But hopefully one of these days I hit a point where we really can work on something that has a release date from the beginning.
Right.
Just make it, and then they take it and release it. That's sort of the.
All right. You've made 5 films. Now let's turn to you. You're like a pimple. You're nothing. You're nothing. Is it true? Over 100 features and over 300 television shows?
No, my publicist just put that in there.
Okay, because on IMDb it lists like something like 150.
Yeah, no, I have. It's just that they don't put everything that I've done, because some of them we can't talk about. No,
I've seen a few.
Yeah, a lot of it too is that I did a lot of voiceover. I was with voiceover groups. So we looped a lot of movies and a lot of television. So I kind of filled it all up. And I had worked in Mexico before, and those didn't count. I didn't really do that much in them. But yeah, I have. I mean, this year I just finished my 7th feature. This year.
Wow.
This year. But this movie is of all the movies I've ever done, this is the. I feel like it's the best part I've ever had. And I was ready. It was time, my time, and luckily we had a year to work on it. So Dave got Ayako and I together many times, and we would just go through it, play with it, and then he'd take it back and clean it up, rewrite it, and come back with some new stuff. And you don't get, that's a luxury you never get.
Especially coming from someone, you got your start in 1975 at the greatest institution of cinematic learning ever, Roger Corman's New World Pictures.
Actually, it was 1970.
Oh, 1970, you're right. That was Student Nurses, and then you also did Group Marriage, both Stephanie Rothman films.
Stephanie Rothman films.
So this was like the Wild West of filmmaking back then. Tell me what it was like working for the Corman unit, and what did you learn on those shoots?
It's all the same to me. Corman or working with Hal Wallace, I love it. This has been my passion since I was 3. I wasn't going to be an actor. I was an actor. So
I've never heard that. I've never heard it put that way before.
Yeah,
that's great.
Everything I did was I was performing, and it was always. And I grew up on the Sandlot playing sports, And so it was team. It's always been teamwork, and that's what to me is the best thing about filming. I get on the set. I don't leave the set. I mean, I don't go to my dressing room unless I have to change wardrobe or something.
You didn't have a dressing room on this movie.
Yeah, a minor little.
Right.
So, what do you owe your longevity in show business?
Stick-to-itiveness, perseverance, the passion for. I had a big downtime in the last, say, 15 years where I didn't do that much, but in that time I created my own one-man show. El
Ruco, Chuco, Chuco, Pachuco. I had it written down.
Pachuco, yeah.
You're going to bring it here to San Diego?
I haven't done it for a couple of years, but I do bits and pieces of it everywhere we go. As a matter of fact, they were having a nerd rap throwdown at Fantastic Fest, and I told Dave, get in there, put me in. He said, well, let me get you in. And they said, you know, if you qualify for the finals, you have to do what's it called? Freestyle. And I said, man, I can freestyle on shoelaces for 2 days. It's like I came from improv, so it's always been that much fun. So anyway, make a long story longer is that we got in. They said, well, you got to have music. I said, just pick some music for me. I don't care, because it was. So I did it, and as soon as I did it, the crowd erupted in cheers, and it just came out. I said, I have to withdraw from the competition because I just felt that it wasn't fair because I've been doing this that character for so long, and they started booing, and the judges wouldn't let me out, and then so there was 3 of us in the runoff, and then the freestyle, I annihilated them. If I could go 2 days, I could certainly do a minute.
So when you watch his film, are you conscious of all the references to other movies that he packs in there? You steal and you make it your own, so that's okay. You can smuggle it in. I don't know if anybody, I mean, I'm sitting there watching the opening credits like, wait, that's Kiss Me Deadly.
Yeah.
You know, sort of.
I actually gotta confess, I haven't seen Kiss Me Deadly.
So what did you put like a copy under your pillow and you dream this? Because
I guess so. Does somebody get hit in the fog in Kiss Me Deadly?
There's a chase in a really foggy street, you know, with the car.
Okay. Well,
you don't have Cloris Leachman running naked through the street, but
right.
You stop at that.
Right.
Okay, so in other words, what I read into the film is complete horseshit. Okay,
no.
It's always good, good to know.
No, but it's there are
Vertigo?
So many...
Was it? You have seen Vertigo?
I've seen Vertigo.
Okay, and you've seen Lone Star.
I've seen Lone Star.
And the Maltese Falcon. Okay.
Maltese Falcon, I've probably seen 50 times.
Those all come up in the film. They're all
absolutely.
referenced in the film. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm not saying I didn't steal stuff. I'm just saying Kiss Me Deadly is just it's been on my must-watch list for. I'm gonna go home and watch it tonight.
You will love it
because you're not the first person to make that connection.
All right, Pepe, you've said about the roles that you were offered, quote, I'm usually killing or getting killed because I'm Latino. Now, in the case of your career, has typecasting been a good thing?
Has it been a good thing? You know, I used to say that maybe I'm working so much because I am Latino, but you know, this is all Latino, but this ain't. This is everything, you know, so I can be a Latino, but I'm not just putting in the Latino. When I was 20 years old, I left Texas. That's when I did my first movie 50 years ago in 1964 called The Jacket of Blood and Gold. And I was the lead. I was a bullfighter, a young bullfighter in Nuevo Laredo. But we filmed for 2.5 years, and it was destroyed in a hurricane.
Oh.
So never saw the light of day. But I went to New York to work at the World's Fair. The director got me a job, and so I go there, and there's like everybody from every country in the world, and it was just such an eye-opener to see and feel that. And I didn't feel like I saw the Moroccan man walking down the street holding hands, and it was like, but I wanted to find out about that, what that meant, and then I would ask. One of the guys spoke Spanish. One guy spoke 13 languages. He was the trade balancer, and I was asking him these questions. What are they doing when they're dancing? And they were pointing to different parts of their body, when they were dancing, saying that this belongs to my husband and this belongs to my husband. Everything belonged to the husband. And so I'm saying, and as you see, they're pointing to the different, and then the Moroccan guy that was like, what are you doing? You're crazy. Don't be talking that. Who told you? He was like so mad. And so anyway, it's just that inquisitive nature of the human being. I mean, like yourself, you know, whatever you are, you know, you look kind of Yugoslavian to me, but what do I know?
A Jew from Chicago. Close. Close. All right, this is really cool. In 2013, you were commissioned by the Los Angeles Annenberg Metropolitan Project to paint a canvas in the hope of inspiring people to read. When can we expect the unveiling?
It's been out. Actually,
it has, because I went to look. I went to look for a picture.
2013. It was. When did I do that? God, it's been over 10 years.
Really?
Yeah.
We'll cut this bit out.
No, it doesn't matter because that's what it's all about, right? It's this, that. You read this, and then was it true or not? But it was the title. The title for it was "Reading is like candy for the mind. Read, make your thoughts delicious." But that was too long for them so then they had to cut it down to "Reading is a delicious adventure." And then they made me not make the Chinese so squinty-eyed, and the African Americans I couldn't do so black, and the Jewish lady that was filming, her hook nose couldn't be that hooked. I mean, I was like, it was like a studio, and
they called cut on your set.
Yeah, but see, I'm like the best actor to be, because I do whatever the director wants. Oh, you want that? All right, no big deal, you know. Well, you know, that's not what I was thinking. It doesn't matter what you're thinking, man. You just
give me the chainsaw.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'll go to work.
Okay, right. Well, that was they went to work on me on that.
Oh, that's right. It was you were the that was a very short role. Yeah.
The victim. But yeah, it's that from improv and just life, from being from Texas and that whole racism thing that I never bought into, because I was on my way. I was coming to Hollywood since I could remember, so none of that really mattered to me.
Well, it's such a thrill to have both of you. I mean, you're a regular here. Were you here for White on Rice?
No.
So this is your first visit here. Are you still living in Texas?
No. I've been here for 45 years, and
okay.
I live on Balboa Island, Newport Beach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So do you come down to San Diego often?
My grandson is here. I don't come that often. We used to come. We used to go down to Ensenada and Rosarito Beach and all like that, but not as much as we used to.
Well, you've collaborated on one of the best movies I've seen this year. I really hope you get a distribution deal, because then I can do a nice big review, make it formal, and people will have more than one shot at seeing it, because I think it's a terrific film, and it preserves your integrity, your sense of humor, but it's a real step forward for you, and it's a bolder and much darker and more assured film, and great filmmakers continue to advance, you know, so thanks a lot. Congratulations. You both did great work, and this is a real pleasure speaking with the two of you. Well, so now you have something this afternoon and then the screening.
Yeah.
All right, get to it.
And you know, my writer friends that came to see the movie at the LA Fest, they were like blown away how incredible it was that they couldn't figure it out. And one of them was writing a movie for me, and now he said he's not going to write it for me anymore because he can't top this.
I have to tell you, mysteries are not normally my favorite genre, because, as Hitchcock said, once you know who done it, you don't want to go back and watch it again. Yeah. I've seen this one twice, so you know, and I hope to see it when it plays theatrically. So thanks again for coming down. It was a real pleasure interviewing both of you. Continued success.
Thank you.
Thank you.